Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Fig Workshop with me. And today we're gonna talk and learn hopefully something about wiring. Wiring for fig trees. This is a technique traditionally used in bonsai training to correct or direct certain branch or trunk into a direction that we would like that branch to go. And I find this technique to be also very helpful with the training of younger fig trees, especially when we are just establishing scaffolding branches, when the branches are still thinner, 1 or 2 years old, and we would like to achieve proper position of these branches for the future growth. Once these branches are set in the place, after that the maintaining of the tree will be much easier. But what is the good scaffolding for fig trees? We would like to have branches that are away from each other so they do not shade. Like this branch here, you can see that it's on top of this branch on the bottom. It's gonna shade it with its large leaves. Looking from the profile, you can also see that this third branch is almost in the same plane as these two branches. Very poor growth pattern. Sometimes fig trees have nodes and buds that are just perfectly positioned going around the trunk, and in this case it just happens that these 3 nodes, 3 buds grew in the same plane. So in this case we're going to have to correct this. So I will show you how am I going with this training. First I'm going to just quickly point something out with this branch here on the right. You can see that it's heavily affected by FMV. This leaf in the back almost looks like it's going to die and fall. And then on the other side we have these 2 perfectly healthy branches and the leaves. So it's very interesting that in a matter of only a couple of inches fig trees can grow a branch with that's heavily affected with the FMV. I'm not really sure if this is something to do with internal infection where the virus is, or perhaps that the virus was attacking the young shoot, a bud growing. In this case I let the last bud grow, and it's also affected with FMV. So perhaps this branch wasn't in the beginning, but now at this point here, this year growth is now affected heavily with FMV. Just something to point this out. Alright, now let's see what can we do with this tree to help. Obviously we're gonna have to move these branches, and one way to correct positioning in branches is by using spreaders. Spreaders like these lodge between these branches, and however in this case these branches are very thin and kinda spindly. This tree had a hard start, was not the healthiest when I first acquired, and now in the 3rd year is becoming healthier. I had it back, and so now the scaffolding can start. I can possibly even shorten these branches, but I wanted to leave it like this so you can have a better visual. So this branch is going to grow in this direction ideally, and one in the back like that. And now we're going to have this tri-star looking from above, branches away from each other. And how are we going to do so? Let me first introduce you to some sizes of the bonsai wire and what they are made of. These are traditionally bonsai artists will use copper wire. It is much more expensive, sometimes even harder to work, especially if it's thicker. So now it is widely available, this aluminum wire that's anodized, and it looks like a copper wire, blends with the branches, and it is just quite appropriate for training of any tree. Sometimes I use even these craft wire, they call it, also aluminum with in different colors, and I like this dark green. It's also cheaper. Size wise, this will be the wire that I use mostly. They are have a difference of 1 millimeter between them, so 3, then 4, 5 here, and then 6. This is for very thick branch, and the size of the wire that we're gonna use will be determined by the size of the branch. The thicker the branch and the more resistance it has during maneuvering will require also thicker wire. It comes with the practice. Once you start using a thin wire like this, and when you see that it doesn't really do much, you cannot correct it, then you will go with a thicker wire. In this case, I already had started wiring, then I thought maybe I should make this video, so I did unwind, and I will use a 4 millimeter wire just to show you the effect of this wire on size of this branches here. So this one is a thinner branch, and this one here is about 1 centimeter maybe. This one is quite thin, and we're gonna leave this one alone. Our goal is now to move these two in position, so I'm gonna use a length of wire that will probably be, I would say, 1/3 the length of the wire that I want to be on a branch, and then add that. And then on the other, I'm gonna add, let's see, all right, this will be plenty. Bonsai wire cutter, very helpful. It cuts flush once we are removing branches. It doesn't damages the bark. All right, so if you had watched any of the Heron's Bonsai videos that I had talked about, Mr. Peter Chan, Bonsai Master, is great with wiring and explaining everything about bonsai. I had learned a lot from him. He's a good, wise guy. All right, and he likes the principle of 2 branches, and I do like it too, thanks to him. So securing 2 branches with 1 wire will give you better leverage when working with. So I'm gonna start with this. Let's see where I can go. Maybe I should go from here. Let's try here. I'm gonna go around the base. Okay, there is a node right here that I like to save. I do not want to damage that. So I'm gonna just make a first turn like this to secure this wire. And then I'm gonna proceed. Okay, and now I want to go on top of this branch so I do not damage that bud. Okay, there is another node right here. The bud is right here. Okay, so I'm gonna stay away. I'm gonna go on top and again underneath. And as you wind this around, just stay away from these buds if you're gonna need those possibly to grow in the future. There is one right here, so let's see. I can go even around here. This is a very thin branch, so it's not gonna be hard to work with. I got my gin pliers, so I'm gonna just use this. All right, now we're gonna go, maybe I should show you up close even more. All right, again around. Just move those leaves away. And again, I'm going to start from underneath to have a better base and anchorage underneath the branch. So we're going to also protect this branch from breaking. And what else I can tell you? Make sure that the trees are watered well before. Do not attempt to wire a tree that's too dry. It makes it easier. The branches are more pliable. Also, the fig trees that are already growing are safer to be wired. Dormant trees with less moisture in their branches can be quite brittle. Hopefully you can see this. Alright, and now I'm going to just finish. Again, I'm going to go above this node right there, that bud. These branches will be shortened this season. I will just letting them grow now to gain in some thickness, some sturdiness, and then I will head them back to probably around here. And now just holding the branch at the base, slowly just try to work with this wire and position it. These branches are quite pliable. Now I was kind of hoping that this wire would not be strong enough for this thicker branch so I can show you how to add wire, but it is actually, so I'm not gonna add another wire. And this is it. Let's take a look from the distance. Now we have all three of these branches away from each other. This one could be maybe moved a little bit over there, but it looks good right now. Just like that. This one was moved more away from the other one, but now nice spacing. And how long you're gonna keep now these branches? Well, usually in the first season, depending on how vigorous this tree is, if the branches are growing strong and it's biting now, or the wire is biting into the wood, you can remove this wire. I always will unwind the wire just the way you go from the top, preserving the wire again for another usage. But in some cases, if you have to use a thicker wire, then it would be appropriate to use a wire cutter like this and to just snip it on the outside, and the wire will just fall down. Alright, hopefully this was helpful for some of you. Maybe you will try to correct your tree. Thank you for watching, and if you know anyone that can use this video and learn something, please share this. Thank you very much and take care.